What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Shadow Warrior 2. We're going to be doing something a little bit different. I thought instead of playing on my main file, which I typically only play on stream, I would actually start a new file, and we're going to play this one on normal mode as opposed to hard mode, because don't get me wrong, hard mode is fun, but I played around a little bit on the normal mode, and it seems that weapons drop a bit more frequently, either that or gems and items drop less, because as the difficulties go up, it says better loot. And I'm assuming that just whatever the weapons are don't count as loot. It means just the upgrades, and you get a whole lot more of those. You get a ton of those. So when I went through easy mode, weapons became very, very frequent. In the second story mission alone, I found like 4 weapons, some of which I hadn't even encountered in hard mode after near 10 hours of playing that profile. But this series is also going to be different from simply playing through it on stream. We're not going to be doing like the whole walkthrough. I'm skipping most of the cutscenes, probably all the cutscenes. What we're going to be doing is a tactical playthrough. This is going to be kind of like a guide to the secrets and the levels and what kind of items do what. And I've got a few ideas of how I want to even upgrade all of my weapons. Of course, we don't have any upgrades yet, but I'm really going to go in depth and start breaking everything down. Now, as far as like level design goes, there are only a few real stock levels. You know, most of them are randomly generated. But the starting area, there are a couple secrets. I'm not going to claim like I know all of them. I know where at least 2 of them are. Right off the get-go from the starting area, if you turn right here and kind of follow the path behind the larger rocks and trees here, you should get to a river, and inside the river here, there'll be one of these money statues. From my experience, the price varies. The very first time I picked it up, it was 5,100 right here. It's just 1,300. What I've noticed about secrets is the key to finding them is these cobwebs. Usually there's a doorway hidden by cobwebs to some degree. And that, you know, of course there's cobwebs in a lot of places. But all the secrets I found in the randomly generated levels have actually been hiding behind cobwebs. So I'm assuming that that has something to do with it.
Alright, where the fuck is this thing?
So really we're kind of going to be speeding through this tutorial level because, you know, I don't need a tutorial on how to play this game, and there's not really a whole lot here. I was thinking about skipping this altogether, but, you know, I'm kind of one for being a completionist and everything. So like I said, other than that secret, I know of one other. If you guys know of any others, please let me know in the comments, because I'd like to kind of collectively know where all the secrets are. As far as the regular randomly generated levels go, there is some measure of tracking. How you'll be able to track where the secrets are hidden, because while the levels are random, they're more just like random chunks. So after playing it for so many hours, eventually, I would assume, we'd be able to start realizing, you know, like, oh, I've seen this chunk before, I've played through this one before, because they are fairly large chunks. So if we can detect patterns in them or something like that, we'll start to know where exactly all the secrets might appear, usually. I doubt we'll know for sure. Come on, where are the other guys? They're somewhere here. Plus, it's just a lot easier to play on this difficulty. Because the very first time I played, I went into hard difficulty just because the promise of better loot seemed like it would be more rewarding, and it's kind of more rewarding, but you do get really flooded with upgrades, and I mean a lot. So after you kill those fangs, I believe the next upgrade is behind, or probably no. Okay, there's not one here. See, I don't even remember really where all of them are. There seem to be a lot of dents and curves in the walls and like hidden caves where secrets would be, but usually there's nothing there, so I'm not entirely sure if secrets are randomly generated as well. Because a lot of times it seems there's just dead ends to places that could hold secrets. You know, you follow a path around or into a cave or something like that, and there's just nothing there. Alright, the second secret is actually here. So it'll be in the same room as where you get the artifact, and it's just kind of directly behind it, another one of these little hidden caves right here. And this one, that one gave me 1,400. Not bad. So yeah, the very first time I played the game, it gave me 5,000. And then it changed. I don't know if that's a patch or if it's just something it does for the very first time you play. So, you know. You know, one of the things I was also thinking about is these gold weapons, which are kind of interesting. I'm not entirely sure how much they fudge the results, because the stats for both of them, you can see like 20% chance to drop some zillion on a hit, and that one's on a hit as well. So I don't know if that also constitutes for like when you kill them. I mean, you can see right now it's dropping a lot of money there. but if that changes the stats of what's dropped when you kill them, I don't really think so. Because some items would say, you know, like, oh, it increases the chance of finding money. Does that come at the expense of finding loot? No. For those, it just solely increases the consumable chance. Consumables that drop are like ammo and money, and that's not in the same item pool or loot pool as upgrades would be. So essentially what it means is that every time money is dropped, or every time consumables drop, it doesn't drop money instead. It's just whenever money is dropped, it drops more of it in the same package. So for example, you know, this was only worth 269. If I had an upgrade that said causes more money to drop, it would still only drop one of these, but instead of 269, it might be worth 300 or whatever the percentage increase is. So your money increase items do not lower your chance of actually finding upgrades, as well as the upgrades not lowering the chance of finding any money. It just kind of works separately from that. But yeah, another thing I've also noticed about the pre-order, which I usually don't pre-order. I honestly don't know why I did this time for dumb golden skin, a golden sword, and a golden gun. It was really not worth it when you get like the soundtrack, whatever. They also give you, it's called the Razorback. It's one of the chainsaw katanas. It's not a good weapon. It really isn't. You'll see when I get up to that point. You get it instead of the Warsaw. Normally you get the regular chainsaw. You normally get that for free. It's just lying in your apartment. But instead you get the chainsaw katana, and it's not that good of a weapon, and it just doesn't really add up. And what makes it even worse is that you have to buy the Warsaw if you want it. It is not free. You can buy it from Larry's, which it's almost a bit of a downside. So if you're unsure about the game, don't get the deluxe edition with all these guns unless you really want it. Because again, these are cool looking guns and swords, and I guess they could really help farm for money, but they don't do much outside of that. It's a fairly standard katana. Because over here, yeah, so instead of starting with the little Wang, you got the gold shaft. And instead of starting with the sidekick, you have the Wang touch. Again, they're not that different from the stock weapons that you start with, but the real downside, I think, is the Razorback, the chainsaw katana. I'll just take that, and we're almost done with this tutorial level. But yeah, I also do want to keep these. I want to keep these fairly short. This one's only been going. Yeah, we're only 7.5 minutes in. No more than. Yeah, let me minus that out. There we go. No more than about 15 minutes or so, maybe 20. The reason being, you know, I was thinking about uploading the stream highlights to YouTube, but that's an entire stream. That's, you know, 3.5 hours on average that I gotta cut down and find the best bits on, which I'm willing to do. That just, you know, takes a while, considering I'm also kind of in a situation where I don't have any good editing software. So we're just gonna, those are blowing up. We're just gonna do these short videos and try and keep them at least 1, maybe 2 missions per video.
Oh look, here's one someone's not using anymore.
I feel like I'm gonna be quoting all of his lines by the end of the day. All right, we're done here. We'll rush, I guess, through the second mission, or the first mission, if that was technically the prologue. Although if this loading screen takes forever, that might just bump us up to 20 minutes right here. Video's done. Sorry, it's nothing but loading from here on out. So yeah, this is going to be this series is going to be all about, you know, going through the game with a tactical manner, not on hard mode. I understand. I really do want to try and do these kind of practice runs and gear up for insane mode. I'm really excited about doing an insane mode playthrough. I also have a few ideas for challenges. Okay, actually just one idea. I want to do a true ninja playthrough where you use nothing but melee weapons, and I thought of doing the same for guns, using only guns. But then if we ran out of ammo, that might really be bad, so would you have to fall back to your melee weapon just in case? It wouldn't really make sense. But I do want to do a melee-only playthrough. And the Mark of the Ninja, or Touch of the Ninja, whatever the amulet's called, that's going to be a definite must, because that's a huge increase to all melee damage, and a decrease to gun damage. So there's no real penalty there, because, you know, or you won't be using guns. So that's something I'm also looking forward to. I'll probably get that started after this. And we got one more cutscene. So yeah, if you're looking through a complete story walkthrough, this is not the series for you. You can watch my streams. We're kind of going through it. You know, we're not really skipping any of the story cutscenes. We're skipping a lot of the side quests though. Did I already get actually an upgrade? I did. Alright, we're just going to put the straight up damage on our shotgun for now.
Starting to feel like a goddamn babysitter. But you know what?
And one more loading screen, yeah. Yeah, I'll probably, in the next, maybe the next week or so, start cutting up the live streams that I do. And I'll start putting them together and just do kind of like a part 1, part 2, whatever, you know. And that will be the main story. That'll be us going through detail, kind of like the walkthrough or the playthrough, whatever you want to call it. It's also my first reaction to it. I've seen most of the beginning game before. Still haven't beaten it. Still kind of looking forward to seeing what happens. And I got to be careful. I got to pace myself with these because I don't want this series to get ahead of my live streaming. I still want to kind of have my first solid playthrough of the game on the live stream. All right, come on, load. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of min-maxing focus here, and just kind of rushing through. So, weapons that are available here. I don't remember what it's called. It's the lightsaber-looking katana.
To the shiny, happy future. One out of
I feel like I have
three
to.
ain't bad.
I feel like I have to be quiet every time he talks. It's just kind of like the blue cybernetic katana, not the blades of Zaibutsu, whatever, the double blades. We get the single one here. It's possible to get. Lieutenant Akimbo can drop his
It's
pistol.
so hard to find a good forger these days.
Alright, let's get these guys.
Note yourself. Kill your fucking forger.
And we're just going to go ahead and take out this first wave of bots real quickly. Also, I'm not entirely sure how much of this mission is randomized, because I've played this one through this is at least the 3rd time now. And it seems fairly similar, at least at the beginning here.
Smooth goes the boomstick.
Come on, stand still. Thank you. The shotgun's really, really helpful on these types of areas. I've also found that you can see these 2 green bars on the side of my crosshairs here. That's the spread of the shotgun. I found in general that getting closer to enemies really doesn't deal more damage with a shotgun. You know, normally if every single pellet hits, then each of those pellets would do more damage. I don't think it works like that in this game. I think it's just a single hit scan, and it's all pellets or no pellets, and once you reach a certain cutoff of range, then it does no damage. They're very, very short ranged. We're just going to go straight off the bat with our first upgrade here, Life Mastery, and get an extra 10 hit points. That'll give us a little bit of survivability, but we're not going to really focus on that because it's not that difficult to survive on normal mode. So we'll go up to 10, maybe 20. And that missed. There's a very high miss chance. Alright, we'll get these guys out. You know, so often I forget absolutely that there's a parry button even in this game. Now see, the SMG doesn't really work well on, it doesn't actually really work well on many of the targets because so many of these targets actually know how to dodge. So you're going to be hard pressed unless you're really accurate, which I am not, to actually hit your targets. I did not know they could do that. I've never seen them do that before. Alright, and we get our first yellow upgrade, which is not bad. Most of the yellow upgrades, I found like about 90% of them have 2 upsides and a downside. There are a few with no downside. So damage to large enemies and chi drain. These kind of upgrades are good on the opposite. Oh, and look at that. We already got our sword. On the opposite type of weapon that they're intended for. So what I mean by that is this one, the downside is a miss rate. So you could put it onto a katana, and it would just be 2 upsides with no downside, which I believe we're actually going to do. So since the gold shaft is primarily a money type weapon, I want to put like luck upgrades on that and actually have money drops on there, which I'm not entirely sure if there are actually weapon upgrades for that. But for now, damage to larger enemies and chi drain. When we find the Sword of Oni, which is kind of like the Giant Slayer sword, we're going to stick all our superior and large extra damage benefits on that, because that is a sword that's designed to kill larger enemies. Also, we're going to have a very specific type of loadout. Usually for slots 1, 8, and 7, I do melee, and then 2 is a revolver or pistol of some sort. 3 and sometimes 4 are rapid fire. 5 is going to be long range or sniper weapons, so like a sniper rifle or some of the Gauss rifles. And then 6 is usually variable, mostly a grenade launcher, sometimes a shotgun, like the high damage output weapons that are single shot. That's usually my loadout, kind of just like a standard load. Let's get the ammo shrine. I'm also going to be kind of going around and opening as many chests as I can, because we do want to get upgrades like this. Reckless component. So a reckless component is nice. That's another damage buff straight up, I believe. Yeah, and we're going to stick that... What did we stick that on? We actually stuck the first one on the shotgun. We're actually going to, as much as I would like to put it on the shotgun, we're actually going to split these up and just get a little bit of extra damage for our katana right now. So reckless components are definitely nice. They are very, very difficult to find at higher rarities. I think I've only found ever one that's blue. They're mostly just white, so it's not a very large damage buff, but you know, everything really counts. Another thing to notice about the upgrades is that the shape that they take. So this one's a peacock, which means it's either going to be a multiplayer or an armor upgrade. In this case, this is an armor upgrade. You can have 3 armor upgrades, 3 power upgrades, and only 1 multiplayer upgrade. So if it's a peacock, it's going to be armor or multiplayer. If it is a fish or a group of fish, that's a gem that affects your powers, so your chi powers. If it's a bunch of tigers, or I don't know if they're supposed to be tigers or female lions, I get they're tigers, then they affect your weapons. And then if it's a dragon's head, it's going to be an elemental component. That's kind of like the coding system for it. Alright, I did not realize these guys are here. Now this sword has a special effect on it. Several of the weapons have unique effects built in with them. This one is, if you get 2 simultaneous kills, then you will gain, I believe it is a 75% damage resist. Now see, that's another thing. Look at this about easy mode. We're just kind of right in the middle of there, and we've only taken about 10 damage. Let's see if we can get a bunch of these guys. There we go. See that? I was fairly far away from both of them, and it did about equal damage, just because they were both in the spread. Alright, this guy's actually killing me. There we go. Now that, I believe, was... No, that wasn't Lieutenant Kimbo, but we also got our... whatever, the German sounding SMG. Compared to the Gold Shaft, so the Gold Shaft has a 4.56 damage at the start with a rate of only 18, so the DPS rate, like you can see, is 67. This one has a lower damage but a much higher rate. The reason I don't like this gun is because it can eat through your ammo very, very fast. We'll actually equip these at the same time. We actually do have them equipped. If you notice the fire rate of the Gold Shaft and probably the sidekick, it's very, very similar. It's about so. And then this one, that just tears through ammo insanely fast. Special effect on that weapon is that when you reload, it has, I don't remember the percentage, 25% chance to reload the clip with 50% more ammo. So instead of 60, you'll get 90, which is nice. It might go well with a dual wielding aspect, although most of the dual wielding aspect weapons are not that great. I would only ever put them on SMGs. I mean, don't get me wrong, they do all have their place. Take that SMG ammo. But they just don't, I don't know, it's not really doing it for me. Because almost every single, probably every single dual wield aspect gives you so many downsides. Extra miss rate, gives you less damage, gives you so much downsides that they're really hard to use unless you're firing at a target that you can't miss, like a gigantic enemy. I would not recommend it. Other than really, really upping your damage output, they don't do much for you. Now, let's see. I do not believe any of those were Lieutenant Akimbo. He has appeared in different places for me from time to time. All right. So there you go. Another armor upgrade. 0.08 life drain. I believe the way life drain works is you have to strike the enemy or at least be near them. I haven't really used any life drains. Let's actually go with this chest here. I haven't really used many of the life drain aspects to notice how much of a buff they give. It's also important to note that chests can, in fact, have weapons inside them. I found a couple of weapons inside, and we actually got another skill point. So the next thing we're going to spend this on is, instead of maximum chi, no, I don't actually think we're going to go with maximum chi. We'll do one more for the health. Chi isn't really going to be that big of a deal. We might do 1 or 2 to start with, but I'm going to push chi regeneration here, as well as our force push and our stealth. Our stealth we're actually going to level up first. Normally for playthroughs I do healing, but like I said, it's not that difficult to survive on this difficulty because it is normal mode. So if you know what you're doing, if you played the game several times, healing is good, but it's not like something you have to prioritize and get first. Get you, and then chop them up. Nope. So this is the place where I have seen Lieutenant Akimbo appear sometimes. Not a lot, but sometimes. Oh, come on, I should reload that. There we go, just get kind of that widespread damage. Really just intending to hit as many of those guys as I can with one strike. And he's gone. Alright, let's make sure all our guns are reloaded. And awesome. Alright, we are going this way. Yeah, so it looks like he's just going to be through here. And I don't believe there's any chests up here. How? Oh no, there's a med kit there. Don't really need that. Where's the chest on the map? It's down below. It's always important to kind of look around these corners because usually, you know, actually always, the chests and other items won't appear on the map unless you get close enough. It's not like you can see them from any sort of distance. See, that's what I'm talking about. I don't actually think I've ever seen that before. Is that a true patriot? Look at that. I don't think that had any stats on it, but it's nice to have another melee weapon. That's interesting. So the light or the short blades tend to have a much faster swing rate. Let's give these a try. Let's give these a stay up. Hard actually really to gauge on these flying drones.
Killing you guys is wrong. I don't want to be right.
There we go. Get them out of the way. One for you, one for you. You're not dead yet, that's a surprise. So yeah, usually a revolver or some sort of shotgun works really well on these guys. Also, another thing I'm wondering about, I haven't encountered any flamethrowers. I'm really starting to wonder if any actually do exist in the game. Now this is either going to be, like I said, an armor or a multiplayer. So it's an armor upgrade. Karma gain, that is very, very nice. If you're still a little bit confused about karma, karma is just experience. The more karma you get, then the quicker you level up. So that's going to help us level up faster and get skills quicker. Alright, it appears as if there's a chest down here. And it's also been my experience that the big chests are the ones that hold weapons inside them. Not any of these smaller ones, but the ones that are physically bigger. Usually have upgrades, or weapons, I should say, in them. Now, I'm really not exploring for any secrets here. I do not doubt that there are secrets. There are most definitely secrets hidden somewhere in this level. I have not looked for any here. I really like this. This is interesting. The True Patriot. I think that's a reference to the movie The Patriot with Mel Gibson. About the guy who took the tomahawk and the knife and just started chopping up British guys because they killed his family and stuff. It's been a while since I've seen it. But that's what true patriotism is, kids, is killing people that you don't agree with. Incendiary form. So this is going to give us fire. I want to do fire. I usually do fire on the Devolver Anaconda. You can kind of do whatever sort of element you want. You know, elements aren't really essential to any sort of playthrough. I'm never ever going to say you have to have a fire gun, or you have to have such and such, because there will be enemies who can resist fire or are weak to fire, but there's never going to be any enemies where it's like, oh, you have to have a fire weapon to kill them. It'll just be easier to kill them with fire if they're vulnerable to fire. Not the best range on this one either. So there's Akimbo. He's in his normal spot. Blast these guys. Because of the widespread, also, you don't want to do that. You don't want to be close to those guys. Okay, component of shield, so that's most likely some sort of damage resist. Come on, one more. There we go. You do not want to deal some serious damage to you. Alright, we got you. Awesome. Alright. He's got his little guys coming out. So we're going to slice all them up. And I think my game sound just disappeared. Wasn't that wonderful? Alright. So we're going to hit just like that. He drops a good amount of money, and this is his unique weapon right here. Okay, I'm really worried now that my sound is not actually working. Yeah, I got no game sound. That's okay. Video's almost over anyways. Which is the Decker ARD 30% extra damage for 5 seconds on a weak spot hit, which is really, really nice because it doesn't have to be a weak spot kill. Alright, so that's the end of the level. Hitting this door here will kind of put us through the next cutscene, which will get us actually to Kamiko. I'm going to end the video here because I don't know what happened to my sound. I will see you guys in the next one. Make sure you guys subscribe. I also have a giveaway on my channel that's going on right now for the month of October. So if you guys want to learn more about that, check out my channel. I've got a video there for that and everything. I'll see you guys in the next one.